Hello, everyone. Welcome. Actually, we have a special guest.
Welcome to BC Pro, everybody. Podcast. Welcome to episode 61. I'm so glad to be in this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. A big shout out to my cousins, my mom, my dad, and my sisters, and all my friends. I'm so welcome to be in this video. Peace.
Thank you, Everett. Everett's an awesome guy. He actually had a group of fans watching him as well as they were.
A live studio audience.
Sorry, your iPads are so funny.
I know, dude. Well, dude. What can I say?
iPad kid.
I'm just an iPad kid. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, how can we trust he's not doing something right now while we're talking on the podcast? But I think Everett said it all. Welcome to BC Procast, episode 61. We're so excited to be here. We have some fun things we're going to be talking about today. So you want to get kind of straight into it?
I would love to. The first thing that I want to talk about is I want to say, braedon, you're looking good today. You're a good-looking guy. The next topic, let's move on. The next topic that I want to talk about is recently I had this like surreal moment where I've been playing piano for...
Happy New Year, by the way. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Happy New Year, everyone.
I just realized I should probably say that. It's 2025 now.
When was the New Year? Was it a Thursday? Friday?
No, it was Tuesday night to Wednesday.
Okay.
So Wednesday was the first day. So now this is the first podcast of the new year, 2025. A lot of podcasts take off, by the way.
On the New Year?
They take off like a week or two before and then a week or two after.
Should we say something like a little bit of clickbait so we can clip that, Joe?
What are you saying?
You know what I'm saying? For the New Year, just like, dude, can I tell you a secret?
What?
Sometimes when I take my socks off, I look in the mirror and I feel like I can have superpowers, but you can't tell anyone. And then clip that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That'll be clipped.
Okay.
Okay, anyways.
You were playing piano.
I was playing piano. I've been playing piano, since I was 15, maybe 16. Like, right, 15, turning 16. And I've been playing it for, like, years. And I was, like, in my head, I'm like, okay, I think I know my stuff. Like, now, I'm like, I think I know my stuff. Is the sun getting to you?
No, I like it.
I was like, I think I know my stuff. But then I recently met someone and watched him and he absolutely killed it. His name is Ryan. He absolutely killed it. And I've seen him a couple times, but I really like focused in and I was like, oh my goodness. I didn't hit my ceiling. There's still so much more to learn, so much more to adapt to my play style. So I remember I got his number and then we started talking, or I started asking him about like how he does certain things and certain songs he sends. And it's just like all in his brain. And I was like, it was a surreal moment to be like, I thought I was decent. But now after seeing this, I'm like, there's so much more room to accomplish. And it made me think about like in life, if you surround yourself around people that maybe not, and I'm not saying that this is for me, but when you surround yourself with people that are like, you know, just not striving for anything or whatever, but then you always like, you start to go out and branch out and you see that people are like, okay, I spend hours playing this just because I love it, I'm motivated. And then when you get around those people, you just get like this like touch of motivation and you just like go and you just like, I don't know, you want to know more. I think is like the biggest thing that I've noticed is when I'm around those type of people, I want to know more and how they do stuff and stuff like that. So have you ever had like that type of moment where you've hit that like, oh my goodness, that drum roll or that certain thing that they did, or maybe it was even just in life where something just made you go, okay, there's more to be found?
Yeah, I think after every like conference or every big like church event where music is being played, I always like check myself and be like, wow, like I am the laziest, like unproductive, like drummer that like I definitely should put much more time into craft. It's funny because you're saying like when you started and I started way earlier than you, and like my progression has been like the slowest ever.
Dude, no,
And
I feel like it has been like...
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Compared to other drummers, I just have not put in, and I've been mainly self-taught. I had one teacher, and like I can't really use that as an excuse because I have the ability to practice and everything like that.
Yeah.
But usually after like every big event and stuff, like I definitely go like, man, like what am I doing in my time? And going to this new year, and like I have specific goals for myself, and I think it'd be cool to like really be on top of that, and everything. But it actually, this reminds me of like the saying, you are who you hang around with. And you look at your friends, you look at who you'll become. And for the longest time, like, I thought that was like I'm not someone to fall into peer pressure. I've had moments back in high school and college, and I'm never one to fall into like peer pressure. But I try my best to have an impact on my friends. But sometimes I find myself being impacted by them. And I love all my friends, like no problem. Because it's crazy that you brought this topic up today when you were talking about different things to talk about. I recently had this thought of like, kind of where my goals, passions, hobbies are versus like some people close to me and if they align or don't align. Now, I love my friends to the end of the world and back. Like they're always going to be my best friends. Like that's never going to change. But I just think about like what can be put into me as I'm a person that constantly talks about like exercise and like health and it doesn't always get reciprocated back. Sometimes that can be tiring, but it's like there's other things I've been passionate about that I've kind of put on the side because it's not been a focus. For example, one of my cousins down south, he's like doing real estate and he's being like blessed with opportunities and the people he gets to meet and like stuff that comes in, stuff that goes out, and he's all around entrepreneurs and people that own their own businesses. That's the same thing, but people that like are in sales, people that are in real estate, people that make oodles amount of money, people that own all this, own that, and like that's around him like 24/7. Like when he goes to church, that's the people he talks to. That's around. That's when his normal Monday through Friday, that's the people he's talking to. That's the people around him. And he's finding success in that. And I like think too, I'm like, man, like, am I setting myself up for success? I love my friends dearly. I love all the people around me. But what I've come to, I'm not going to replace my friends. But what I'm going to do is start inventing friends. And what I mean by that is back in college and stuff, I used to watch like a lot of like business stuff and motivational stuff. I don't know if I'm going to do that so far. I don't know if I'm going to do that, but I think what I am going to do is my passions and like hobbies and things that like I really find interesting. I'm going to invent friends that can feed me that information. And what does this look like? What I mean specifically? I mean podcasts. Like I listen to podcasts a lot. And oftentimes I like to listen to like fun, uplifting podcasts. And other times I listen to a lot of like science-based biomechanics, anatomy and physiology, human performance, the wellness of the body and stuff like that. I don't always listen to that. But I think it's like when I'm in those times of wanting to further my education and stuff like that on my own. Because if you think about it, education is completely free nowadays. The amount of YouTube videos, the amount of podcasts, the amount of free information online, you can like get a PhD in it without getting any degree in it. Because like I was talking to a friend of ours last night and he's like rebuilding a car and he has done nothing with car stuff up that. He's just done 2 years of figuring it out on his own and watching YouTube videos and all this stuff. And now you can ask him any question about cars and he has like the knowledge of how a car works, which is crazy. So to kind of answer your question, like surrounding yourself with people, it's like, I think I'm going to take my own initiative for the people that are like watching. If you're like, don't have anyone around, or if maybe your friends are not on the same page as you, you can go and find information, find sources that can be your fake friends or your inventive friends that can also help push you and persuade you to become better and learn. And then this is my last thing of all my talking and stuff, and then you can say stuff. But I heard this quote. It said, rich people buy time, poor people buy stuff, ambitious people buy education, and lazy people buy distractions. And I was like, geez, like, that kind of hits hard. And I think of those people, I'm like, that is true. Because I can think of rich people and what they do. They set themselves up so they have whatever time they want.
Yeah.
And then poor people, you just keep them buying, like, things. And, like, that's what can lead you poor. Ambitious people, you buy education. And that doesn't even mean, like, going to college specifically. But it means investing in yourself to learn and become better, even if that's through experiences. And the lazy people buy distractions. And I'm like, I know, like, I'm like, wow, I can think of a person for, like, each of them sometimes. And I'm not saying I know anyone who's, like, lazy. Everyone I know works hard. But I'm just like, oh, that's true. It's like, what kind of person do I want to be, especially, like, as I'm getting older? And a lot of New Year resolution stuff brings reflection in that.
Yeah. Oh, do you have New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, I have some goals I want to work towards this year.
Yeah.
But
Give me just one. Just one.
I want to accomplish goals.
I like it. That's one of his New Year's resolutions.
It's very broad, but it's very serious. Like, I was just talking to someone about it the other day, and I had a dream, and that was to travel, like, the world, do backpacking through Europe, and I completed that. And once you unlock and do something that, like, euphoric or that, like, high on your dream list, or, like, that, like, in that atmosphere of dreams, and you do it, you're like, wow, like, you really can just do anything if you just do it. And I was even talking with this podcast with another person. I'm like, we're 61 episodes in.
Yeah.
It all started from, let's actually do a podcast. Let's do the, no, let's, like, do it. Let's record one tomorrow. Record tomorrow. Like, all right, let's figure out how to post it. And we posted it. And then we just kept going.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is insane.
But, so we just finished a conference. We're talking about being surrounded by talented people. But usually after those events, for myself, I get motivated. But motivation doesn't carry on. So what makes you think that, like, this new leaf you're turning over is something different?
I think this time I acted upon my feelings. Like, instead of just being like, just talking to the guy, I was like, you know what? I want to create this connection and have a resource that's amazing. And so I was like, all right, I'm just going to act upon it. Because usually I'd just be like, okay, conference, I'd hear these piano riffs, I'd hear all this stuff and be like, oh, those are so cool. But now I've not only added that resource in, but I've listened back to the live stream, like, multiple times to hear the notes that he was playing and the notes that, like, the band was doing and how the band was building up and organizing or how it's organized and stuff like that. So I think that's one thing that is helping me now not just be a page that I flip, but it's a story that I'm going to continue to write, kind of thing. And so John actually recently told me this story, or this study, and I thought it was so fascinating. And it goes around being around people, which, do you think, just like I always had this thought that people give off vibes, they give off energy, they give off, like, just like, and I was like, how is that even possible? How can I just sense that you're a good guy? How can I just sense that and I think that's, like, discernment and, like, the spiritual side of things as well. But also, John found the study that they took sweat from a guy who was about to jump from a plane. And they took a sweat. Have you heard of this study?
No, I'm curious.
So they took a sweat of this guy who jumped off a plane, and then took this other sweat that was something else, and I can't remember what it was. But anyways, it was to see and smell. And so people would smell each one, and they said that they can smell the fear. Like, they can smell, like, fear.
Yeah.
And so that makes me think about when someone's joyful, like, you must give off something. You must, like, if I'm happy, if I'm go-lucky, or if I'm whatever, I must give off something that you can smell. Because, like, our bodies are designed so perfect. Like, to the point where it's like, there's no way we just happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, God definitely created us, and he did such a perfect job because we're able to, like, not only just live together but understand each other. And it's so crazy to me how that's even possible. And so that makes me think about when you surround yourself, it must be a sensory thing that's also going on, you know, that you're able to smell motivation or maybe feel motivation or see it and then be attached to it. Because I know what you're talking about, where, you know, sometimes it may not seem like it's not like a good environment, right? And no one can talk. Like, I've noticed I would be in an environment and I'll get there and I'm like, oh, I know what this is going to be like. And no one has even said a word yet. Maybe there was something that, like a joke here or there or whatever, but I can, like, almost feel it immediately. And so I'm curious on your thoughts on that, on what you think that goes on in the more than the eye can see.
Yeah, I think that's very real. I mean, people communicate with each other non-verbally much more than even verbally, just about how you look and how you carry yourself, how you move. And then to bring in God and spirituality, like, you can tell when someone's filled with the Holy Spirit because there's something different about them. So I think there's definitely true about, like, someone can give off a different, like a aurora or energy or vibe. I don't know what the word I'm trying to find is, but yeah, no, that's definitely a real thing where you can give off that sense. But I mean, like, you know, when they talk about guys, like, trying to get girls, and, like, they have, like, all this, like, studying of, like, different ways, techniques, and all that stuff. But, like, one way is like having an interesting life, like having your own life without the girl. Do fun, do cool things, have hobbies, have passions that you're, like, thoroughly, like, interested in, like, deep diving in. And then, because the girl's gonna see that and go, wow, like, he has, like, a full-on cool, like, life that he loves. And by the way, you don't have to do the coolest things where you're doing skydiving, skateboarding, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. Like, you don't have to do all that cool stuff. Like, anything's attractive to a girl when someone's passionate about something. If it is video games, if it is building cars, which girls find that attractive, so that's a bad example. But, like, if it is, like, IT, if it is, like, reading books, if it's puzzles, if it's, like, chess, like, girls just like something. Girls like guys when they're passionate about something. So I kind of bring that up as well. It's like, you know, when someone's passionate about something and, like, really cares for something, and, like, you talk to them or just, like, are around them when they're doing that action or that activity or anything like that, you're going to feel like, wow, like, this person has, like, a different level of interest and, like, aurora when it's surrounding something. So I think when you meet people and you're excited to meet people, or if you're doing something that's fun, if you're doing something that, like, you know, brings out, like, a passion of yours or an interest or curiosity, I think that can be felt by people without even, like, having to speak. So I think you're right to think that there's much more. I mean, people talk about, like, the hormones that you release when you're around people you like, and you can almost, like, smell it. There's, like, one time I was with this person, and they always smelled, like, really good to me. Yeah. And I was like, what? Like, you smell so good, because I'm a big smell person. They're like, yeah, this is who I am. And for some reason, I'm like, oh, this person's awesome. I love this person. I like being around them all the time. I love all this stuff. And then I found out later that they were just using, like, a fragrance. And I'm like, yo, you tricked me. But there are a lot of real things of hormones releasing, and that draws you to people.
Yeah. You also brought up an interesting topic, too, about how you keep that motivation going. Because did you say motivation is fleeting? Is that, like, what you were...
I got at that earlier.
Yeah. I think that's so crazy, because it is... Because once you, like, leave that room, you are by yourself now, right? And so, like, I feel like when you're in that room with all these, like, amazing people that are doing great things, and you're like, oh my goodness, I want to go do that. Then you go into your car or whatever, and you're driving. And, like, it almost gets to a moment where you're like, all right, I forgot what I was supposed to do. And then you, like, you almost go back to your old ways. I'm curious of what your solution is to getting to taking that feeling and continuing to go with it and being consistent instead of just letting it just be a thought or being a feeling.
Yeah. So the basic thing is just putting it into a routine and going autopilot. Like, things will happen over time continues.
Yeah.
No matter if you choose to do it or not. So, like, if you have a goal and you don't do it each day or every other day and you blink, it's going to be 3 weeks. It's going to be a month. And you're going to be like, wow, imagine if I did it every day or every other day, where I would be at versus not. So it has to simply, like, a very simple answer is, like, put it into your routine and be disciplined with your routine. This is what happens. This is what you do here. This is what you do here. This is what you do here. And just do it. And then create free time for yourself. But have a routine and follow the routine.
What do you think the
Oh, sorry. Real quick. I've said this many times before. But discipline is the best form of self-love. Because you're disciplining yourself now for a greater goal. If you want, like, a quick fix of something that makes you happy, something that makes you joyful, if that's food, if that's watching TV shows, if whatever, and you're doing that, you're only going to be, like, little spikes, but you're not going to find lifelong fulfillment or enjoy or all that stuff or happiness for, like, your big goals of, like, how you want to perform as, like, an athlete, or if you want to get that degree, or if you're doing a startup company or something like that. Like, the little things of, like, little, like, happiness spikes can come and go, but self-discipline is the best form of self-love because you're giving up the small, quick fixes of happiness for something that's much greater and bring, like, actual, like, joy and fulfillment.
What do you think the biggest enemy is to getting to that place?
People you hang around with. Bring it full
That's
circle.
actually not a bad. That's not.
It's true.
That's very true.
That is a big part of it. But, like, just to bring it back full circle, I mean, the people you hang around with will only push you and motivate you and give you success or not. I mean,
You know what I'm really curious about? Now that, like, we're, like, talking about this, it makes me think, like, I'm getting, like, this image of what I'm getting, like, this image of a huge base, a huge, like, colony, right, far away, right, and then, like, this little colony that's going, but they stay in their boundaries. They just stay there, right? And I almost, like, see that they think that they're all right. They think that they're good. They're where they're at. They're perfect. They're doing their thing. They're living. They're doing it. But I almost, like, I see, like, this other colony be able to destroy them or come about with so much more advancements. And so I'm curious, like, that's just the image that I have in my mind when we're talking about this. And I'm curious to know if that's ever happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know exactly what happened back in the day or how things were destroyed or how things were so easily movable. I know in the Bible, whoever was on God's side is going to win, and whoever wasn't going to. That's kind of like the spoiler alert. If you're with God, you're going to win. So I'm curious to know what happens in war, and why do people lose? Like, is it not only not in war specifically? I guess I'm talking more of, like, in life. Like, why is it so easy to be stagnant, and what are, like, the biggest consequences that come with it? I guess is, like, where my ideas and my thoughts are at thinking about.
yeah, I don't know if this is going to answer your question, but I was going to put some money in stocks. Okay? This ties to kind of what you're saying. I was going to put money in stocks, and I put the money in, and, like, the next day it went down. Like, and it was down for, like, weeks. And I was like, wow, this stinks. But stocks is a long-term thing for people that are going to invest. But I was talking to my fiance's dad, who does a lot of money and everything like that. He deals with a lot of money and banks and investments and stuff. He goes, you only lose when you pull out your stocks. Mm-hmm. So you kind of tie it to anything. You're only going to fail once you give up.
Wow.
Like, if you keep on going and keep on working, yes, you're going to miss the mark. Yes, you're going to lose some battles. But if you're staying in it over time, you're going to win and you're going to succeed. So whenever you, like, get off the horse or wherever, like, why do people fail? Why do people lose? It's because they just stop. They give up. Like, for example, there's countless stories of business owners that do multiple businesses before they succeed. And one guy, Alex Hormozy, he had 9 businesses that failed on him. 9. And there's even people that have more or less. But you only lose when you give up. And that's simply it.
Wow, that's actually great. I didn't even think about that aspect of not just stop trying. Because I think that's so true. Is when something's not working. I remember I used to have a don't do this. This is horrible. But I remember when I was trying to learn licks or runs and stuff like that. I would have a rubber band.
My goodness.
And I would get so frustrated at myself. I didn't bleed. I don't think I remember bleeding. But like I was like so frustrated at myself. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. I broke the rubber band, which hurt even more because I like ripped or like pulled it. And I didn't realize that it's because I did it so much, day after day after day after day. It was so loose. So I like did it, and then it like snapped right here, and I went, oh. And then I was like, oh man. And then I like left it. I left it alone. I didn't do anything. And then I realized that, as you guys probably realized, as I was saying the story, I was way too hard on myself. Like I think when you set a goal, don't be like, it has to sound like this. And I didn't know technical stuff. So like I was already not failing. I was already putting myself in this place of I wasn't putting myself up for success. I think that's what I was trying to say. And so I didn't know like the techniques. I didn't know like the finger work and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna set a lower bar, not like a super low bar, but I'm gonna be like, all right, if I could just do this in this time. Like, instead of being like, I'm going to do a little bit slower. And then once I got that, and then I felt like my fingers, then I was able to get it right away. Not right away, but I was able to get it soon after. And I think it's because, I didn't give up. But also, I set a different, I still had the same goal, I just had a different plan to get there. Like, I feel like there's not just one way. There's never a one-way street. If you always take a wrong turn, I know, bless you. I know when I work and do stuff, I like to follow the GPS. But Derek sometimes goes, I know a way that is kind of like a cooler way. And when he says like a cooler way, it's the same distance and the same time. It's just like a different road that we go on. And I just think that sometimes when something has like a detour or blocking, you can get there still. It just depends on a different route that you take. So tying that and with the not giving up, maybe it's like, maybe your goal is like 5 years in advance instead of that 1 year that you wanted, you know? And instead, like, you take it a different way where you build yourself up for success. You maybe invest in your knowledge, you invest in your thing. That's also another thing that's turned a leaf. There's this thing called Gifted Hands. It's actually pretty cool. It's like this subscription you can buy, and then not a subscription, a resource thing that you can buy, and they basically have all these lessons on how to get fast. But instead of just thinking that you listen to something, and I fall short to this, thinking of something and be like, I can just do it. I find myself that I miss so many links to that, to where I just go straight to this like place, and I just fail. And then I like fail, and then I give up because I'm like, dude, this is dumb. I don't want to do that. But realizing that I did not invest in myself enough or with the right things to get there. And so maybe giving up is not an option. Or if you don't want to give up, like truly, you're like, I want to conquer this, whether it's something you're dealing with in life, whether it's whatever, don't go cold turkey. Depending on what it is, maybe go cold turkey. But if it's like something, I don't know. Let's say that you struggle with a lion. I feel like that you can go cold turkey. Give me something like that's like that. But you can't go cold turkey. You couldn't. If you go cold turkey, you might like mess yourself. Oh, if you want to eat healthy, that's a good one. If you want to eat healthy, don't go straight to like just eating salads. I fell short to that so many times where I just wanted to like, you know what, I'm just going to starve myself because that's the only way that I can lose weight if I'm not putting food in myself. I know for sure I'm not gaining weight. And in that, you hit this point where you're like, maybe I can have like one thing, and then I'll have like a burger that turns into like 5 burgers, and then turns into a dessert, and then turns into all this stuff. And instead, what I found out, luckily, I had a very, very great resource in Braedon. Eventually I found out that life is a marathon. And if you want to get to that goal, which I wanted to get to the certain goal, that you just have to build yourself up to it. So maybe you take out certain things. Like I love chips. And so I had to like figure out how to not have as many chips. So it was like, okay, pour a bowl, put it back in the pantry, and then do that. And then I can eat from the bowl from there. And then what I'd realized is that when I started like almost when I started like taking away the portions I was getting, I was gonna say starving like the bag of chips, but that doesn't make any sense. But if I started like portion sizing my stuff and then like get up and go move it somewhere else, then I felt like I was like, dude, first of all, I'm too lazy to go and grab another bowl, or I just don't want to work with that, so I'm just content with where I'm at. And then I was able to hit the goal that I wanted.
Yeah.
So that goes along with maybe just not giving up, but finding another path of going to it. And talk to people, man. I think that is the biggest resource that we fail as humans to do, is we think that we have to learn everything on ourselves or by ourselves. And we're both self-taught. I had much more lessons than you did when it comes to our instruments, and I like was helped a lot. And so I think, and then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna learn it on myself and like just build it up. And then you almost get comfortable doing that, and you like neglect the idea of knowing that other people can help you with certain techniques if you just like talk to them. And so I think we're all put on this earth to know God, to have a relationship with Him, and build a community. And there's more stuff, that be baptized, get the Holy Ghost, all that stuff, right? But also, we're social creatures. Even though you're an introvert, I'm speaking to you introverts out there, even though you may be an introvert, you still need people, and you still need someone to talk to, because if you don't, then you're just talking to yourself. And yourself isn't the greatest thing to talk to, knowing from experience. But sorry for taking it so deep.
That's BC ProCat.
Where's that?
I pinched my finger with the thing.
Are you okay?
So that's BC Procast, episode 61. Please like, subscribe. Make sure you read your Bible. Make sure you pray. Make sure you build that relationship with God. Ouch. And make sure you follow along. Something you can write in the comments. Maybe write down a goal of yours for this new year. And something you want to get better at. And then also, we definitely fueled your curiosity today. So,
yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.